Truth Minister Paul Scott on the West End in Durham with Brother Shareef. How you doing, my brother?
Good, brother. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. I just wanted to get you to drop a few jewels for the people in regards to Black History Month and how a lot of our people think that we're out of slavery, but when it comes to the prison industrial complex, many of us are still enslaved.
All right. Thanks for asking, brother. Since we don't know our history and a lot of us don't read, we keep falling into the same traps. And one of the biggest traps that they have for us now is prisons, because prisons are big business. If you look at the history of prisons, it's not an African idea or concept. It's a European idea. Back in the 1500s in Europe, we're not talking about Africans now. We're talking about their own people. They would lock people up. This is the origin of jails and prisons. They would lock people up for being what you call a vagrant. A vagrant is someone who doesn't have anywhere to stay. If you were unemployed, idle, or if the community saw you as immoral, irresponsible, or inconvenient, they would lock you up. So from that, this is how they started filling up the jails. But back then, they didn't call them jails; they called them workhouses. They called them workhouses, and in these workhouses, they actually paid the people to work. And they would spin grain, sew, do different things. They would teach them a trade. But as more people started getting locked up because of the industrial system was failing at that time, the jails start, deteriorating. But from there, this is how they started the idea of jails. And actually, the first jail was in 1166 by King Henry VII. He had a jail and would hold people there. And then this idea came to America. So with the 13th Amendment, it says that involuntary servitude is, abolished except as a punishment for crime. So they didn't totally abolish slavery. So now the jail system is the new slavery. And in 1878, they came out with a system called convict leasing, which is a new form of slavery. What they would do is with the black codes. A lot of people know about the black codes, and they especially enforced it in Washington, D.C. Blacks would get arrested for walking on the wrong side of the street, spitting on the sidewalk, walking in front of a white person, talking too loud. Our one brother, Khalid Muhammad, even said that places in South Carolina, they even had laughing barrels, where if you would laugh too loud, you would have to put your head in a barrel so you wouldn't laugh in front of a white person. So they started locking black people up for with a bunch of unjust laws called the black codes. Thus, you became a ward of the state. New slavery. So what they would do through this convict leasing, say you, brother, Minister Paul, had a street paving business. And the state, since we were wards of the state, we were convicts, they would let this company, your company, have us as slaves, pave the streets for free, and then the corporation would in turn pay the state for allowing the state to use the convicts. You understand that? So that's what they would do. You were getting free labor through your street paving business, free labor, and you would take the free labor or the money that you got, not paying them, and then pay the state. Well, the same thing is going on. California in the 1990s entered into convict leasing. First, it was a community called Del Norte in California. They were suffering in the 80s because of the diminish of the timber industry. And when the timber industry went down, they made a deal with California Department of Corrections and built what? Pelican Bay State Prison, one of the biggest prisons in America. It houses 4,000 inmates. To do what? To bring revenue back to that area in California. Corrections officers, wardens, everyone was, basically cashing in off of black people and Latinos too. So 13 corporations started coming into California state prisons. They made shoes, boots, a lot of the dental products that we use. They did that. All this is free labor, and they even made a sophisticated telephone messaging system there. Free labor, convict leasing. So my message has been to our young people is to stay away from criminal activity, because if you don't, you can become award of the state. In America right now, listen to this good, every single state, all 50 states, the prison population is 3 times more than the general population which in blacks live in. I'm going to say it again. Every single state, the prison population is 3 times more than the general population that blacks live in. Like here in North Carolina, blacks represent 22% of the general population, but they're 56% of the prison population. In Florida, blacks represent 14% of the general population, but they're 64% of the prison population. In Georgia, which most people have this idea that that's a black state, no, you're only talking about Atlanta. The whole state, blacks only represent 29% of the general population, but they're 69% of the prison population. 3 times more of the general population we live in, we're 3 times more of the prison population. That's totally disproportionate numbers.
That's definitely information that our people need to know, brother. Can you give how can somebody get in contact with you if they want you for lectures, or is there a website, Facebook, or anything?
I'm not really on Facebook, but I'm going to take your advice and get on there. 919, I do it the old school way. Just call me. 919-265-4119. That's 919-265-4119. Or you can email me at Shareef, SHAREEF, the letter I, Hameed, HAMEED, @gmail.com. So at Shareef, Hameed @gmail.com. The best way is just call me.